Are we ready to get started?
Of course.
Gosh, it's so hard to believe. It's already April 18th. Maybe it's not too hard to believe. You know, you say that after a while, then you realize, wait, you really are at that time of the year where exactly where you need to be. Not too slow, not too fast, but maybe we're at that point where it does kind of feel like, okay, let's wrap this thing up.
5 more Mondays, we're good.
Yep, only 5 more weeks. And so this is our 4th meeting of the year, 4th and final meeting. So this meeting is just kind of we'll have a continuation of some of the items from last time, but then just a kind of a review of the year and then looking forward into the new school year, just talking about what next school year will look like, depending on maybe some curriculum choices from tonight. And if, depending on that, we can maybe start putting a plan into place for what next school year can be. So when we start recruiting for next year and looking at new members or just trying to kind of maybe expand the group a little bit, we can kind of give a better look at what next year will be like. That way, if we're wanting to kind of do a different way of recruiting or just going after more of our parents or different parents in the community that may represent different different looks or feels from the district standpoint, we can do that because we might have an agenda or a plan of what we may want to do or could be doing, and so that could kind of be something we use to speak to that and just use to say, hey, if this interests you, this is the work that we'll be doing, come and join us, and we can kind of just see how that works for us, just as a way to kind of really be intentional with recruiting, but also just being more transparent about what S.H.A.C is, what it serves, what it's for, and how anybody can really join and participate and be a part of what we do. So that's kind of just where I'm thinking for next year. We'll definitely have a bit of an election time period where we'll open up, we'll have an application, anybody's able to join and be a part of the committee. And if you guys have any thoughts or opinions on how to make the committee better, or just how to have a better outreach so that those who need to hear about this get that information. Definitely Parent Square has been huge for us, but if there are other ways we should be communicating, definitely I want to know about that. So, any thoughts about just recruitment or application or how to kind of bring more awareness to S.H.A.C so that those who may benefit by being here are getting that information, are well informed, so on and so forth? If anybody has a thought on that, let me know.
We could put it on a flyer and put it on the family engagement, family students, like our page on TMS.
Oh, on the website, yeah.
Yeah.
And then put a link to
Some
the,
advertising maybe?
yeah, and a link for the application.
Right. The next thing is just really talking about terms of service and just kind of how things are structured currently. Really, S.H.A.C is kind of came from like 2 different evolutions where in its first evolution, it was kind of like, this was kind of like the last committee that was kind of to the party. And so it was kind of the last one that was really considered because typically S.H.A.C competes against the district planning committee, which is DIC. And so usually that's the one people like to get onto because it's a little bit more involved. It's kind of broader, whereas S.H.A.C's a little bit more narrow in scope and typically really is thought of in the sense of like nurses and the medical. But as of late with COVID and over the last couple of years, S.H.A.C has not just been about like that anymore. It's expanded tremendously into other areas such as the mental health, the counseling services, the social services, the wraparound services. And then in our kind of conversation for tonight, some of the curriculum for sex and health education. And just knowing that over the last couple of years, S.H.A.C has been responsible for adopting and approving that type of curriculum. We have looked at several curricula in the past, but we haven't really taken anything forward. And so I was just curious if tonight, with choosing the best and revisiting from last time, if that was really something we wanted to move forward. If so, then we can really kind of put that approval plan in place and allow that to be something we communicate out as a recruitment piece to say, if you are interested in being a part of the decisions being made for this curriculum, come be a part of the committee.
Right.
So what do we think of that? Because at some point we do need to talk about the curriculum just as a yay or nay, so that the community and our stakeholders are aware of where we stand. It's not that we're not doing anything or haven't done anything, it's just our stance, our decision has been this. And this is the reason why we're deciding to do this, maybe so versus doing it this way, right?
Right.
So definitely something to kind of look ahead at, but tonight, knowing exactly if we do want to move forward, we can kind of really start kind of crystallizing that and making that more of a real thing for people, so. Go ahead, Crystal. I want to know more, I want to know more about choosing the best and why we really need to go in this direction.
Okay, well, I'm Crystal Nair. I'm the community schools at the middle school. And this is Nancy. She is, I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but she is the boss lady when it comes to this curriculum. Like, she's been doing it for years now, and she's great at it. She pretty much has this book memorized, if I've heard correctly from our director of programs. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself and then, go about the lesson. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
How many hours do I have? I'm just kidding. My name is Nancy Moreno. I do work with community schools, and I do come and empower our students with choosing the best. There is one booklet per grade level. We do have consent forms that we either mail out, the principal like to mail out in middle school. I do that because it's smaller schools. Right now, I'm working at S.H.A.C, and I'm also contracted to come into Calallen ISD. So I work with middle school and high school. And I usually go through PE, sixth grade PE, and we are way book 6 lessons. I can do in 5. And it depends on when the coaches want me there. If they want me there 2 days out of the week, 3 days out of the week, 4 days out of the week, I'll go in and hand out the booklet, and I go right by the booklet. We have a video that we do show, and it's just teenagers talking about each subject. The subjects are on here are all basically on healthy decision making, bottom line. The 2 objectives that we do talk about are teen pregnancy and STDs. I understand a lot of parents may not want for their teenagers to learn about the word sex. I use the word exchanging bodily fluids. It's more comfortable to me and to the students. That also represents us talking about kissing, open mouth kissing. At this age, whenever they're in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, if you have phones and you're on social media, you have the need to actually talk about healthy decision making. What is a best friend, a foundation? And it has good subjects on there. Defining your future, friendships, relationships, unhealthy relationships, identifying risk of how you can actually go and hang out with your friends and actually tell them, no, I'm not about that. No, I'm okay. That's not for me. Because that also implements the values that your parents are instilling, whether it's aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whoever is raising them. Because now in age, maybe not mom and dad is raising the students. Me, for one, I have a 3-year-old that I am raising. So, so one booklet per each grade level, along with our education on choosing the best path. We also do service learning. Service learning is an awareness that we bring. We work closely with our coordinator. I love to do, like in February, it just depends. If it's teen dating awareness, we can bring a guest speaker. It's up to the principal if they would like a guest speaker. We do follow all protocol, and we can bring them in to talk to them. Right now, what I'm in demand for is the vaping, anti-smoking. I do have videos, and I stick with CDC curriculum only. They have a lot of crossword puzzles. They have bingos for vaping. They have videos. And they also make their own posters. I bring in the material. I have tons of colored paper. I have tons of slogans that they pick from, and then we create a big old board, and we actually put it. I work with DEAP students very closely, and that's what they actually have me going and doing for Calallen, and Mathis ISD as well. Like I said, the classes would be either PE, physical ed, extracurricular, health classes in 8th grade, which I just came off of Cal Allen Middle School, 8th grade. And I do come into the classrooms and I take over the class. If they want me there 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I'll go ahead and do that. And like I said, it just depends what classes the principal like for me to actually go and introduce this program. We send a flyer, we'll put it on the web, technology. It depends on how you actually do it. I think you'll have a parent portal. Everything's translucent. If they wish to come and talk to me, I can have a parent meeting. I have a book that's called the Big Talk Book. And I talk to the parents. It's all based on healthy decision-making, and we want to make sure that these kiddos do the right thing whenever they're in certain situations. I have been with a group maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, and she's a witness. Actually, some students stayed behind to come talk to me and said, hey, this is what's going on with me. And the first thing I do is direct them to the counselor, always. And that's what I'm supposed to do. But we are the bridge link between the parents and the student, because there is a lot of things going on with the students. And so as far as them being social, we want them to be social, healthy-wise, safety-wise as well. So I love this program. I know we had another program, and we chose to do this one. This has been working out great. I used to also be teaching this in George West ISD for middle school. They got to start off somewhere, and I advocate real big for this. I really love this program. I know the program. We have my coworker here, Miss Stephanie, that's going to be on board with us, and she will be doing these schools. I'm all for team teaching. I will come in here and take over. So if you have any questions about this, I will more than happy to email you, come in, do a demonstration, or if they have parents that, for me to talk to. I've had maybe a handful of parents that said, no, that program's not for us. Well, let me meet you. Let me go ahead and go over the curriculum with you and exactly what's in here. And by that time, they're like, no, somebody's got to talk to my students. So we're on board. I know, like Mr. Tiemann in middle school in Mathis, it's a small school, it's a small setting, and I mail out all the information and the consent forms. I do get them back within a timely manner, so I can go ahead and start. So that's the bottom line of this curriculum. It's all based on healthy decision making. More than happy to go ahead and look at our table of contents of what I go over. Usually when I teach, I hand out the book. I do a lot of group discussions, and that's when we start learning what are the basics of healthy decision making, what are the good characteristics you want, what is a healthy relationship, especially in high school, when we do have boyfriends and girlfriends and things of that nature going, how do you talk to one another? And then move on, of course, to teen dating violence. We need for them to know what are the risks and what is a healthy relationship versus an unhealthy relationship. So,
And you said there's a video that you show?
I show a video. Every single grade level has a video. The video, all it consists of is two teenagers or a group of teenagers talking. Like if they're talking about healthy.
Can you pull up an example that we can see a short clip of?
I don't have the CD with me, but I'm more than happy to go ahead and bring the CD. And I have my own projector. Like if we don't have a classroom that I can go into, I had almost 60 students at the Cal Allen Middle School. And it was the PE athletic group. So I sat down and we showed the video in the cafeteria. And all it is them talking about healthy decision making.
Is it an older video? Is it newer? Like how relevant is it to the kids
There-
today? Because I know some of these
Were you
videos
here
are.
last?
Is it the same one?
It's the same one.
Okay,
So
if
if you
it's
were
the
here
same one,
last
I'm
time,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the same one we watched last time, yeah.
Got it. I was just trying to make sure that it was
Not
Yeah.
different.
what we were already liking.
Yes,
when it
right,
was
right,
different, right?
correct.
That's-
And that's what it is. It's just teenagers talking. And I do give the chance for the students to actually to, discuss anything what's going on. I have a box that we're supposed to bring and has question marks, and I can put it out, depending on the grade level. Usually high school doesn't use it, maybe the sixth grade will, where they're shy to ask any questions. So I go ahead and address the questions, just based on what the book teaches us, period. So I don't keep out of that. And I have been doing this for a number of years. So I have very good rapport with parents. If y'all need parents to come in and we have a meeting, I go ahead and also jump on the bandwagon. If she's got something going on, I come and assist her. We set a table. I always have, as a matter of fact, on the 6th of May, I have a health fair that I'm doing. And of course, I'm representing community and schools, and I'll have my books out there too. And, talking to the parents as well, because, those are their students as well as ours, and we want to make sure that they are safe in all aspects of actually socializing normally and safely.
What would you say is the biggest differentiating factor between the grade levels? Like, what makes sixth grade curriculum sixth grade versus seventh grade? Is there really any?
The content material.
Is there anything like of a major difference, so that if I was thinking, okay, sixth grade, it's gonna pretty much look like this, and then it'll graduate into seventh grade, it'll kind of be this, and then eighth grade, that way I could have a visual, or just communicating kind of very quickly, like what the differences are, what they could expect.
It's very in general, sixth grade. The foundation is about healthy friendships.
Okay,
Healthy friendships, because when you come into sixth grade, you do have students that are inside classrooms with seventh graders and eighth graders. They become friends. Socializing is normal, but we got to do it healthy. So the foundation is friendships, how to build a friendship. Whether it's with a boy or a girl, we have friends. And being a good friend is supporting them. If they have issues going on, who do we come to? And that's one of the questions that I always ask every single class. Does everybody here have an adult that they can actually talk to about situations that are going on at school or at home? And a lot of them raise their hand, whoever does, and I said, please come to our counselors, our teachers, our coaches, to me. We want to know what's going on with you. We want to make sure that you're making the right, healthy decision. And I have a lot of them open up to me, and of course, I direct them to the counselor. That's my protocol.
y'all have any questions, or just anything specific to
Questions?
grade level?
Ask away.
That was another thing, because I just wasn't aware that it was the same curriculum, because it was a very good presentation and
Yeah.
stuff that we saw. I was impressed with it, just wanted to make sure it was
Yeah, it's the same.
the same.
It's the same, but I figured you guys would like to hear it more from
Somebody that teaches it.
Yeah.
From the exact
the
source.
number one,
I go into the classrooms and, we separate the sixth grade, either boys or girls. It depends on if our principal wants that done. I do co-ed too. Like I said, sixth grade's very in general. We can discuss with both. In high school, we have co-ed
So what is,
classes.
can you give us like an idea of what 7th and 8th grade look like too?
Seventh and eighth grade, then seventh grade and eighth grade gets introduced to STDs. And all we do is talk about each STD, and we talk about them in all the books. And how to be safe. They give examples in here exactly what can happen, because a lot of them, seventh grade and eighth grades think, well, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm far beyond, that choice. At one point, maybe not today, not tomorrow, maybe this summer, you're gonna be introduced, somebody's gonna be talking to you about different things, and we wanna make sure you're very well-rounded and educated in what's going on or what you can get, even if you're open mouth tongue kissing.
sorry, my face.
I'm very comfortable talking
so
about
sorry.
this.
I like the scientific version of the French kiss, as you put it, the open mouth tongue kiss.
I think
Yes.
that resonates.
And like I
with
said,
middle school.
instead
Yeah.
of, the word SCX, I always talk about exchanging bodily fluids.
'Cause it's-
That's exactly, what they're doing, exchanging bodily fluids. We gotta be safe with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this because I know it was a question I was brought up last time. You can, if the principal or maybe like they like the lesson, but there's maybe a parts of the lesson that they don't want to have, can
Yes.
omit,
Yes.
like a lesson.
Yes,
or
I have done
section.
that in the past
Okay.
too. Yes, yes.
And are we looking at this for like our middle school and high schoolers, or what are we looking at this for?
That is the decision of this committee. We can do all, or just one, or whatever we feel like. To me, it would make sense to look at it in an entire, 6 through 12 context, just because, why not? You
And we
know?
do have a book, this is seventh grade, eighth grade, and high school. The subjects on high school, again, it's on setting goals. We want them to graduate.
Right.
Period. We want them to focus on academics. We want them to focus on being a teenager. But we also want them to know the state laws, because once they get to the 17 years old, true legal age of consent, state of Texas is 17 years old. So I do tell them that, it's not in the book, but I do say that, because once they graduate, I'm not gonna talk to our babies anymore. I'm not gonna have them here. Again, my history is I came off of TDC, I worked there for a number of years. I don't want them to wind up there.
So does the high school curriculum is not like broke up 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, it's like
No,
high school,
it's
so
all-
once you get it, you've got
Because
it.
I pick up my PE classes or my health classes, and they're mixed from 9th through 10th, and this booklet covers setting goals, making the best decisions, avoiding teen pregnancy, avoiding STDs. Again, it just talks exactly of what we were discussing in 7th grade. The same materials is introduced, and I have not seen them maybe in a couple of years or 2 years. It just depends. If I saw them in 7th grade and 8th grade, maybe in 9th grade, they don't have PE, or, they're taking other extracurricular activities and I won't see them. So we also, along with this curriculum, we also bring awareness of vaping, anti-smoking. I make sure to do that. And that's how I actually get the kiddos to want to participate, because I bring in all the material and it's fun. When was the last time that a lot of high school students got to mess with the glue, got to color, got to put their own slogans on there, why we're not vaping? I didn't bring a poster, but they're very creative. We have a lot of creative students here, and they want to express, hey, this is why we shouldn't smoke, this is why we shouldn't vape, this is what I learned. Popcorn lung. I had one student had a silhouette, and they put lungs on there in the definition of what is popcorn lung. Is this real? It is real. So they're taking from this program. I know they are, when they're coming back and telling me things of that nature.
For instance, go ahead, Mr. Denishek.
Well,
Go ahead.
At my level, so we got 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but 5th, in previous districts, that's the first year they got to talk, right? And it was more about puberty and healthy relationships and things. And, I definitely see a real need with those kids.
For sure.
I have a
We have
5th
some,
grader, for sure.
because there's just that, they're uneducated, and they say and do things that are just outlandish. And you're like, do you even know what this is? Do you know what you're talking about here? And answer no, do we have anything like that for that level?
In 5th grade, the state of Texas states that we can start at 5th grade level. The curriculum is only for 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, through 12th. But our principal in Mathis wanted me to come and talk to all the girls. So I got all the 5th graders in different classes, and I talked to them about puberty. I talked to them about hygiene. Lots of them are being raised again by grandma, grandpa, and uncle, and they may not be talking to them. And I'm the first person that they actually talk to them about their hygiene, what is puberty, what's going to happen, their menstrual cycle in 5th grade. I keep it very short and very simple. Always has a real good pamphlet that I hand out, and it's on the web.
So could you
Very
create,
translucent.
so could you create some kind of curriculum or something, like an outline or something like that, so we could see something like that?
I do have
'Cause
that.
I agree, 5th grade definitely needs it.
That's exactly.
The grade level, you really need it.
Just like I told Dr. Cortez, and eventually, once the new junior high is built and 5th and 6th are together, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
without
they're
a
gonna be
doubt.
in with each other, so it's.
No one's
not-
stepping foot on that campus until we have that plan in place. No one.
You know what I mean? Because then you really need something in place, because then they're gonna be together.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think we're in a good place as a district and also just as a staff and a community to probably receive this in the best way we could, knowing that there'll probably be some delicate parts to this and some sensitivities we'll have to be mindful of, but I definitely think it's worth our while to explore this in further depth and to kind of be prepared next year to really, in a reporting sense, be comfortable knowing that the work we will do as our review and kind of just a deep dive into this, we'll be sharing out to everybody so they're aware of what we're doing so that they'll be getting that real-time feedback. And possibly we can then kind of gauge and put feelers out to know just how it's being received. And that way we can kind of use that as a temperature check against the work we'll do as a committee for next year. That's what I'm kind of seeing.
Whenever I bring awareness also, because it's part of our service learning and what they actually academically will learn, an example, in the middle school, we had a float that I had to do, and I was promoting, don't talk and text. So the kiddos actually stayed after school and they created a big old cell phone. And Cricket sponsored us. So we walked, so the kiddos that were with me in my class also, we put service learning, and they were promoting awareness to the community, because that is a community need. I also do socks for seniors. I do that in the month of December, which the students actually put their boxes and they decorate them. And we're asking for socks or puzzles that we can actually take to the nursing home. And our principal allows us to go to the nursing home and they sing. It's only about 20 students that go and they sing 2 carols and deliver, because we're giving back to the community. It shows them responsibility. It shows them that they are making a difference on what they're doing. That's part of service learning. I had a skit that I did on suicide awareness, and that was 7th graders. I had my girls stay like 4 times, and we had played some music. They didn't talk, but they did the turn one around, and they made their signs, they played their song, and they brought it to all the 6th graders, and then the 8th graders came in and viewed it, and that's part of giving back to the community. There's a need for suicide awareness, and we want them to be healthy and talk to other people. So. It's just different things that we have that we can do with service learning through this program. So it's not about just hand out the book and you're going to learn about STDs in teens. You also learn responsibilities and how you can help out. I know you got the recycling that y'all do. This just adds a little bit more to.
So about how long does the
community.
curriculum last? Do you do like over 6-week
This is-
period, over 6 months? What does that look like?
I like to do mine within a month. So if the principal allows me to come in 2 times, 3 times out of the week or the whole week, I can take over. I usually do Monday through Thursday. That way they can have that 5th day with their teacher. The teacher's going to be there as well. 6th grade only has 6 lessons, which I can do on 5 because it talks about healthy decision-making and goal setting. So I can do that within 5. I can come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesdays and Thursdays only for the rest of the whole month so I can get this done. It just depends, and I'm very, very flexible. I come into the school district ready to go with my papers and my colors and everything. They're like, we have a guest speaker, we have this going on, we forgot. That's fine. Do y'all need help? Do y'all want me to do cafeteria duty? I do that.
He's like sold.
Accidentally.
He's gonna accidentally
I'm
book
in
you.
very high demand, and sometimes they're like, the principals were like, Nancy, we need you here today. I'm like, I'm in town now.
11 to 1.
So it's 8 days, I'm sorry, it's 8-day curriculum for 7th and 8th, 8 days. If I have a week, I will make sure to get the key points out of this book, because I always start off with the definitions. The first day she was here, I went over every single definition. The definitions are about respect, responsibility, trust, compassion. Those are a lot of definitions that sometimes we don't get talked about in school because we have our history, we have our math, we have our English. These are life skills that they're going to take with them. I want you to do good. I want you to build your character, I want you to depend on you and grow like you should be, without getting into trouble, safely. And if you can, support one of your peers along the way and direct them to come to our staff. Our counselor, our coaches, we're there for you. I've seen too many things come out after they leave high school. I don't want you to be there, I don't. I care. And I want to make sure that you feel that, and they do, because, she's my witness. I can have students come up that I barely know, 2 days, and they're like, Ms. Moreno, did you know that this happened to me? Sorry that happened to you. Are you talking to somebody? Are you getting help? Do you want to talk to the counselor? Right away to the counselor, because that's my protocol, to go to the counselor.
They also add that sometimes their siblings are going through it. They're like, well, my sibling is dating somebody older. My sibling said this happened. So it's good to aware them because that's their role model. So if they're looking up to them doing something that we're teaching the opposite with, we want to guide them in the right path.
That's very important.
And middle school is a jungle. I mean, they're trying to figure out who they are. They're, you know, they see the 7th and 8th graders, and some of them are great role models, but there's a few that you're like, what are we doing? So, and then the 6th graders see that. So, you know, even if we start at the intermediate before they get to the middle school, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that lesson from 5th grade, and then kind of reiterating it again in 6th grade, because 6th graders, they just follow the lead. They see,
And that is so
and
true.
monkey see, monkey do,
That
and
is so
that's
true.
what they
I'll
do.
have
All I'm
students.
saying is, when we say that.
Yep.
There's students that I see in high school, they're like, I remember you, Miss Moreno. You're the first one that told me about, you know, that I have to be careful because there's consequences to everything that we do. And, you know, and they start talking to me and I'm like, let's go to the counselor. You know, I direct them in the right direction. I love doing service learning because it's a hands-on. Like I said, not a lot of high school students are busy cutting. I have a group of boys that I did in DAP. I had 14 boys, and we were doing service learning and vaping. Their posters were great. They wanted skulls, so I created a skull, and you're supposed to decorate a skull. We had all the information on vaping, but they shined. I understand they made some mistakes, but they're learning. They're learning, and we're here to catch them and push them forward. And that's exactly, you know, they actually asked, oh, when is Ms. Moreno coming back? I'm like, I've already talked to you about vaping. I did my crossword puzzle. I did my bingo. I did all of that. They're like, we just want to talk, Ms. Moreno. I said, okay. But
I have a question.
yes,
On your vaping for the high schoolers, and I can see where the 5th and 6th grade might, you know, attract some of the committee here because they deal with the younger
Right.
stuff, but younger kids. My thing is, besides vaping, where else do you go with the training? Because on our school board conferences that I've been to, everything they're talking about right now is fentanyl.
I was say, that was.
I mean, vaping, the
we
last,
actually have, I think it's Coastal Bend Wellness did a vaping presentation for me at the middle school. I actually got a guest speaker to come in, and they shined on that because they're more well-rounded with terms and how they can present that. And they did that through the, right after they had a cafeteria, they had like a homeroom, 30 minutes. She came in and did a PowerPoint on that.
I'm talking more for the high school.
For the high school, Coastal Bend Wellness also does that.
And we also have the council too, is a good
The council,
agencies that-
especially
for the
here,
teenagers for
like in
fentanyl.
Corpus, I have a hard time at having outside agencies to come to Mathis area because we're a rural area. But I know the Purple Door also did one presentation on teen dating violence, presentation that they have. And she did that for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade because we need to make sure that they know the foundation again of what is a healthy relationship.
I looked through my book, Dr. White, I'm sorry. The DEA, the actual DEA, they have a actual,
Yeah, curriculum, they have like their own
Curriculum.
thing we could look at using.
because of the fentanyl use
Well,
is
that-
extremely high.
You give me some good thoughts, because this is more in the sex ed and health education, and that's more of the drugs and alcohol prevention and kind of the violence, and that's like in its own kind of category.
also needed.
We just have to bring these categories
Figure out,
together,
combine them.
build a scope and sequence for the year, and basically give our students at all grade levels the opportunity to learn about this at the appropriate level for them, but making sure all the things we're talking about kind of are in sequence and kind of flange up, so it just makes sense according to the time period, how we theme it, and how we're kind of, you know, showcasing all this for the district. The only thing I was gonna ask was, knowing that currently some of the districts kind of embed this and kind of use this as a replace of in the classroom for that curriculum, for like, you know, PE, health, for instance. I don't necessarily see us wanting to do it maybe necessarily that way, where we're kind of replacing what's being done by that teacher with somebody coming in. I see this as more of a kind of a designated day where we intentionally schedule these meetings almost in advance, to where over the course of a year, we could communicate to our families in advance to say, here's what our students are going to be learning from the social, emotional, and the mental health awareness piece of things for the year. We're going to have 6 days. Maybe we don't have them all at once, but maybe spread out throughout the year. So one day per 6 weeks or 9 weeks by semester. And we could have a schedule where all that's communicated in advance. We've got like months themed out where we know what we're doing this month because on the middle of the month and at the end of the month, we're having 2 meetings on drugs and teen dating violence. So that's gonna be kind of what's the content and then the theme, and then we could build all that out way in advance, schedule this, and really begin communicating like to our families, really what we do here now for social and emotional, for mental health, for all that stuff that we just haven't really had a clear plan for.
And which campuses we're gonna target.
Exactly, and so parents who have multiple students in the various campuses can see how all this kind of works together, and that we truly do have a plan coordinated across the district K-12, and here's what that looks like in advance. So you can ask questions or perhaps participate if we are able to set things up for families and stuff like that. To me, I feel like that's the direction we definitely need to go in, and tonight just kind of, to me, is that kickstart into that direction.
And me doing this for a couple of years, I started in Mathis, I expanded to Cal Allen, and I already know in the month of August, I'm going to be doing the pickup PE classes. I already know that I'm gonna move on to the health classes in 8th grade because I've already done this. We've already set, and they've already sent out permission slips, it's on the web, this is what's coming this coming year. And that's what we're doing.
So can families opt out if they want, or what?
Excuse me?
Can they opt out of this?
If they
these
do
classes?
opt out, I follow up with a phone call or with a meeting. Once they see the curriculum, I've had maybe a handful, because of circumstances that some students get into foster care, that they don't want this curriculum, and that's fine. But I don't have more than 10 students that the parents don't want this. Once they meet me and they come and talk to me, and I sit down with them and said, this is exactly what I'm teaching them. I want you to see this, because if I'm not talking to them, their peers are going to be talking to them. They're gonna get on social media, somebody else is gonna talk to them. So we wanna make sure that we get accurate information with the person that wants to make sure that they are doing good in the school setting, because things can happen in a blink of an eye, and we gotta make sure that, we're there for our students.
I think we can all agree that we're in a business of being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
So I think I've already seen some things, I know Dr. Cortez can kind of attest to it, but middle school, there's lots been happening. I mean, I've talked to a student already who's in a relationship and it's not a healthy relationship. And they're already, having intercourse. So it's like, I can only do so much, I can only say so much, right? Because I have to be careful with what I say.
Of course.
So I don't want them to misinterpret that or, but I'll just tell them, like, if they're not gonna be supporting you in the positive way, why are we letting them drag you in a different direction? So it's like you have to kind of have, choose your words whenever you're talking to a student. So I think just having them come in and doing the curriculum,
Yeah.
and like she said, they're gonna have the conversation, but it's up to the parents to realize who are they gonna have that conversation with? The wrong person or a right person. So
And this curriculum is 100% abstinence. So every time they come at me with, well, we can do this and that, the stats are here, 100% abstinence. There is a lot of things you can't take. Stats show that a lot of teenagers are becoming pregnant because they're actually taking other things, 100% abstinence. You're not gonna,
So this is abstinence-based
it's
curriculum?
100%.
That'll allay about 98% of anxieties and worries from parents if it's abstinence-based, so
100% abstinence.
we're definitely on the right track with it. So we are headed in the right direction.
And it doesn't matter, because the students, they'll come at you with some questions.
No.
And again, 100% abstinence. Make them write this word, define it. They need to know the meaning as of 6th grade, then I move on to 7th grade. If I don't have classes in 7th grade, I move on to 8th grade. And again, it's basically the same material. The two objectives on all of these books is STDs and is teen pregnancy, 100% abstinence. Have a foundation with whoever you're talking to, whether it's your friend or someone you have a crush, someone you like, 100% healthy relationship. We want you to be that good person. We want to depend on you. We want to call you to the office and go run errands and make sure you're doing the right thing and not looking for you 10 minutes later. Things of that nature.
Now, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes?
On the 6th grade curriculum, does it address like peer pressure and stuff like that?
There's a session on there where it talks about,
I just asked because actually right before coming to the meeting, I have a 5th grader and we were just talking about like peer pressure because his little friend told him to download Cash App, so he downloaded Cash App.
And so,
That would be a hard one.
I'm like, why Cash App? So
Hard to hear, Mr. Genesee, just my ears.
we had a combo, and I'm like, this is why you don't have your phone. This is why you only have your phone whenever.
so the first thing, I would talk to the 6th graders, and even, I had 8th graders, and they didn't know the word, they didn't
Consent.
know what the word consent means. They also didn't know, what is peer pressure? What is that? So I introduced that word, I'll make sure that they understand what is peer pressure. You know, other students of their age, asking them to do something that maybe should not be done. Stop and think about mom and dad, what values they are instilling in you. So I introduced that first, I take it back, because not everybody knows what that is. So on the 6th grade booklet, it is 6 lessons. The last lesson is how to say no. Can everybody here say the word no?
No.
Say it like you mean, say it like you mean it. Again, how do you say no?
That's a 5 o'clock in the afternoon no.
So that's how this goes. So I gotta make sure that they understand and they're comfortable. That's, you know, a plus. I don't want them to get lost or be bored and just write out of the book. I am a very, I was telling her and joking around with her, I'm very introverted, as you can see. I like talking to them. I want to make sure that they understand this material. I want them to take something with them every day.
And they
So-
do interact back.
They do.
They do. They have a lot of questions. And what I've noticed since I just started working with her, since I just started, is like they are curious and they do soak it up. It's like sometimes when their parents tell them, they're like, okay, mom, okay, dad. But when somebody else tells them, they're like, wow, okay. And also seeing it, it's like they have to visualize it to understand it.
But peer pressure though, that's a good point though, because
That really
yes,
is a
maybe in
good
the
point.
5th and 6th, you need to introduce them to it, or what the meaning is. But an 11th, 12th grader has just as much peer
Yeah.
pressure as that 5th grader, if not more. Because that's where, you know, so I'm sure you distinguish the different levels of peer pressure.
And when I've gone over these books, I've actually wished I had these growing up, because I had my son at 17, and I wasn't talked to about any of this in school. I wasn't talked to about it by my parents, and so I didn't have that support here and outside of school. So if I would have known about this, it would have helped a lot.
And I'm
Education.
I'm coming from a different perspective where I started this program a year after my son that was 18 and was a senior was a teenage dad. And now he's got custody of his son. So I've seen a lot of hardships. I've been through them. I'm going through them. So I totally understand. I totally get that. Every single lesson that you see here does have a short quiz. 3 steps in decision making. And whenever you mention quiz, they're like, oh, let me take notes, because is this for a grade? Yes, it's part of your participation grade. So take notes. You can use them. So we do our quiz. We may do them together. Like you saw, we do, but there is a quiz for every single one. There's a parent questionnaire. If I have more time, I can assign them, hey, you need to go ask your mom, you know, what was your first date like when they're in high school? And they'll write things down. They'll come and say, look, Miss Moreno, look what they wrote. They didn't date till they were 25. You believe that?
Until they're done and then they get it, like you hold on to it until they're done with it.
I do. I have them the very first day. I have them write their name. Yes. Yes, some of them do take them, some of them trash them, or some of them I'll go ahead and take up. The first day I have them write their name and write a little something about yourself. A picture, just for an icebreaker. And a lot of them start drawing, you know, and it doesn't matter if you have a marker pen, map color, your favorite color, you're gonna write something. And I've been working for the school district since '07. But I started this curriculum, I think, 5 years ago. So I'm very well-rounded. I know sometimes the kiddos try me. Bathroom break every 3 minutes. No, it's not up. We're here to learn. So I want to know what, you know, I told you, you go ahead and tell me back, you know, whether it's on a poster, on a quiz, so.
It's not black and white on a TV where they have to sit there and watch a 30-minute video in a
Like the way-
monotone voice.
You mean the way the millennials learned it?
Yeah. Yep.
But even though,
Yeah.
even that said, the consent video, it's a cartoon. And it's only 2 minutes, and what is consent? It's a little cartoon saying, this is what consent is. The kids love it. It's a cartoon that's 2 minutes, and it's actually telling you and defining what is consent. You know, because students need to know what consent means. A lot of definitions we don't go over at school. This is all of life skills that they're gonna take with them.
I think it's everything we need and then some.
I encourage you
Like you
to
said,
get,
I wish we had more time. I would probably ask you more questions right now, honestly.
bring me back. I encourage you, it's called Choosing the Best. The curriculum is on there, and the booklets are on there. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a set here. You wish to come and look at the set, take it with you. I always send a book home to the parents that actually say no. I'll go to their house, and they're like, I can't, but Nancy, can you come over here? Sure, you know, I'll go, and I'll go talk to you and show you the book and talk to you. Because I don't want nobody to be left out of this curriculum.
Awesome. Thank you for coming today.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna leave these here.
I have these, but you said not these, right? Or these is
Yeah, the green one, I'm gonna leave the green one here.
Like, in that plan, Dr. White, like, I think, like, do the whole plan, yes, the drugs, this piece, but there also needs to be a piece about social safety. And because
usage.
Oh, yeah, no, that's part of the digital curriculum that we haven't gotten to yet, but the digital safety, oh, yeah. That's coming.
We're all on the same page.
Okay, good, because
This can't be done without having the whole package deal put together. That's why I really,
them by color.
at some point,
Yeah, sixth grade
administratively, as a
way,
district, we'll
seventh
talk a
grade
little bit more
math,
about the
eighth grade
logistical,
learning.
like, can's and cannots, about how
But not
to
just
pull
with the
something like
kids.
this off. Do what?
not just with the kids, like, even to offer something.
Oh, no, that's the thing, like, it can't just be, it's gotta be wrapped around everybody to where we have to offer this to every stakeholder that would benefit from hearing about this.
Yeah.
Because without having the parents or anybody else involved, then we're just missing that piece to where you're gonna be swimming upstream at some point without having that as a support to what we're wanting to do with them.
I sound old, like we had this in our school, a lot. It was like, just say no to drugs,
In
don't
Texas,
touch anybody. Like, yes, that was Houston.
like, yeah, like,
Norris came to my school. Who came to your school? Chuck Norris.
He was cool. He was cool too.
Him and Elijah One came to my school. I mean, it was.
Where in Houston were you?
Yes, there's like, stay out
Thank
there.
Where in Houston?
45-minute drive, and I got
Like,
three.
Like,
Spring?
Sorry. Northeast, like Humboldt.
Okay, Humboldt? So Humboldt,
Sir, we need a celebrity here, like.
Well, I mean, well, and then just south of that, northeast, it was like, but I remember all the PSAs on TV every
I'm in
day.
Houston, and I like my summer. So I was in Sci-Fair, so like my experience was a little bit different. I was the TV rolled out on the cart with the coach, feet up on the desk, read the newspaper, and kind of coach, time to fast forward through this, like, we gotta get through this.
We got
That's
a
what that was for me.
full-blown sex ed class in 6th grade. And.
That's the thing we did too, but it was the coach with the feet up, and it was
Oh, no,
like tape,
yeah,
tape,
they
tape, like,
had
the
boys and
curriculum
girls
was
separated.
one like 30-minute, like, Saved by the Bell episode after another until we got to the
They
curriculum.
passed around models, it was all,
Oh,
I'm telling you, I was scarred from a young age, it was like, you got it, I won't go anywhere near whatever it says.
Yeah,
That LV 361 and choosing the best are two separate things, so you might change that.
that was also part of my confusion.
Yeah.
Because they're not related in any form or
That was the
fashion.
center that they talked about, right?
Yes.
But that was part of what was confusing, right? Because it was like, was that part of the sex ed curriculum or
No,
not?
It had nothing to do with that.
Okay,
It's that she was late, and so
That's what it
sex
was
ed
then.
sex ed went, and then she presented, and then the men's and women's clinic
it
who
was
was
just out of order
doing.
then.
It was, and so then that's where it got confusing, because she has nothing to do with, hers isn't a curriculum, it's a wraparound service
Yeah, I think it was-
essentially,
okay.
for those that are,
Let's talk later about Elevate.
please.
So,
Thinking maybe they could bus kids over and all that, right? That was that.
They actually have a mobile unit that they bring
That they bring,
here.
We're gonna do that, we're bringing them in next year, like,
Gotcha.
that's gonna happen.
It's good to hear.
That was
It's
too
good
cool for us not to do something
Well,
with it.
they really target our at-risk kids, our kids that have dropped out. They either get them back into school or get them into a program that helps them get a GED, helps them connect with refineries. They have a lot of connections with refineries and health industry kind of certificate programs. So if they didn't get it in high school and they need it, there's just a lot of wraparound services there, and they're just a big hub. They also teach them leadership skills. They come out. They have guest speakers tonight. She couldn't come out and present because they have a guest speaker coming out to present to their youth
Well,
at their
they
youth
require
committee.
them to give back, right?
Yes,
That was
exactly.
To kind of,
Which was like, it was a little bit of a different spin on the typical same old, same old. I just thought their program just, I don't know, I think our kids would really get like a ton out of it.
I think they will. I think it's a really good program. And they have they're for those really kids that don't have parents at home or are being raised by grandparents. They have a food pantry, they have a clothing closet, they have a hygiene. If you go to the center, I mean, I've been there several times. So we were in the news. The mayor did their grand opening like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it was on the front page of one of the, I'll have it next time we come. But like if you go to their center, like in their bathroom, they have hygiene products for the girls to just get and take with them so they don't have to ask for it, things like that. So they have a lot of cool services. They have an internet cafe so they can come and work on resumes or FAFSAs or whatever. They walk them through how to do a FAFSA. They help them set goals. They do a map of their future and what that looks like. So there's lots of,
It's very intentional.
yes.
It seemed like they had their stuff together and they were really making good efforts with plans and being strategic and also.
And they're
I think it's
involved with
good.
Cal Allen ISD, CCISD. I think that's it right now. I think they're trying to work with Flower Bluff or whatever, so.
That's awesome. And then the other thing for tonight, and it's just real quick so everyone's aware, high school has been chosen by, I would say, the National Youth Tobacco Survey. This is an organization that every year kind of selects by random selection districts throughout the nation to participate in this survey as data collection for the state and the feds to kind of make decisions and to use for research and other types of, stuff that they do. So this is something that the high school, per S.H.A.C approval, is looking at doing in the month of May. And this was just some information about what high school receives. We will have a parent permission form so that, again, if there's a desire to opt out and not want to participate in answering the questions, that's definitely an option. And just to kind of give an idea of what it looks like. Just pretty standard stuff. Like grade level information, so demographics. And then just kind of starting to ask questions about just e-cigarette and just kind of information about if so, then how much or when did you and things like that. And it's like, well, gosh, high school, like, obviously we're talking about specific grade level, but you'd be surprised by how honest the high school kids will fill out this type of information. It can be pretty eye-opening, honestly. Especially like days, right? This is an interesting question. This would really differentiate of our actual users or first-timers or, back and forth, like, what does that really look like? I'd be shocked to see answers that really weren't in maybe the 21 to 50 or 51 to 100.
Will we get the results?
We will.
Yes.
It'll be, it'll be, confidential results.
Just like our school.
Yeah, we'll have like the raw data.
Before it gets
Not
sent out
the
to
student
national.
information,
Does the
but
student have to put their name on this?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's all
They won't
confidential.
do it.
They won't even know. They won't even know. They're just really wanting to collect from us. It's been a while since high schools participated. Typically, it kind of rotates every 3 to 4 years and then it comes back on us. So it's really that time that it's not coming back on us. And then at some point, they do kind of give us a year-over-year report on kind of how the answers have evolved or just improvements in certain areas. So it is good info. High school's definitely wanting to capture this, but definitely wanting to make sure you guys were aware, have the chance to look at this, ask any questions, or just wanting to know kind of what was going to be done with this. High school was wanting to make sure you had the opportunity And just wanted to make sure, per y'all's blessing, once we have it, we'll move that forward. They will complete that in May, and that'll just be part of the program evaluation data that we'll use to make decisions for next year. So, does anybody oppose high school completing the survey? Okay, I'll let them know tomorrow that y'all approve, and probably some information will be coming out to high school families in particular, just about consent and if you want to opt out of the survey or not. And so, that pretty much wraps up tonight, about 5:30. If we have no more business or no more discussion, that was pretty much all I wanted to cover tonight. And like I said, in the next month or so, I'll be in touch with next school year kind of application, committee information, agenda, looks ahead. So that'll be coming, and that'll be next time we talk. Until then, hang on to your britches because we're in testing season. And
It's rivalry week at the high school,
exactly.
so bring your kids to the Under the Lights tonight, the Reading Under the Lights. It's our second one, so please come.
And so as we end that, some of us gonna move over to that. That's an opportunity to take advantage of. If not, that is it. I appreciate everybody coming tonight, just being a part of this year's committee. And thank you so much for your just time and efforts. Appreciate it.